Welcome everybody to Every.Black Mastermind meeting. We're going to get started with a little housekeeping. The meeting is being recorded, and we ask that everybody share live stream meeting at www.facebook.com/every.black. We ask that you raise your hand if you'd like to be called upon. Please stay on mute unless you have a question or comment. Hold down the space bar on your computer or temporarily unmute yourself. Please state your name and location before you speak so that we know who you are and where you're located. Okay, so just to get us started with our meeting agenda today, we've already heard our inspirational video, and I am backup for Camille, so I welcome everybody to the Every.Black Mastermind meeting this evening. And we're gonna then go into our book discussion by Deborah Wright. And then Jimmy will do the announcements. We'll have scripture reading by Whitley at 8:30, around 8:39 p.m. Our guest speaker will be introduced by Jackie Bowen. Then we'll hear from our guest speaker today. We'll go into a question and answers and our inspirational video. We'll also break out into networking sessions. We'll have some closing remarks, a closing prayer, and of course, we'll go to our section from 9:30 to 10 a.m. with another inspirational video.
That's okay. I grew up in Flint, Michigan during the 60s, and I remember as a child the civil rights movement. And I remember as family would huddle around this black and white TV and watch all of the things that were going on in Alabama and Mississippi. Some of my cousins, older cousins, were active in the movement, and every Sunday we would have a large Sunday dinner with the extended family. And they would come back on Sundays and they would tell us about all the things they'd seen and done. And as a child, about 8 or 9 years old, I always wanted to grow up and be a part of that. But by the time I became of age, it was all over. All of the marching was done. I always felt left out, that I didn't get a chance to participate in the civil rights movement. But little did I know that God had another plan for me as a computer instructor and database developer. We as a people had to overcome slavery and secondly obtain our civil rights, being able to eat in any restaurant or stay in any hotel that we wanted. But the third piece is economic equality. I'm convinced that to achieve economic equality, it has to be through entrepreneurship. And we must use technology and a strategy of global networking. And that's why I created Every.Black, to use my 30 years of experience as a computer instructor and database developer to use technology to promote our members. We do it in a wide variety of ways. Of course, we list them on the website. We list our members in a directory that is downloadable from the website and our podcast, and distribute it at trade shows and other events. We constantly promote our members on social media and weekly email blast. Our social media followers and recipients of our email blast numbers in the tens of thousands. With over 30 podcast shows that air weekly, we reach people around the world, educating them about every aspect of becoming an entrepreneur. Where you can be interviewed on one of our podcasts or join Every.Black and have your own podcast. We have a complete package of services catered specifically for the entrepreneur. And last, we conduct weekly mastermind meetings where we read positive books and learn about entrepreneurship while networking with like-minded individuals. Just go to www.every.black to register for our weekly mastermind meetings. And that's what Every.Black is all about. Whether it's through mastermind meetings, providing the members with more exposure through social media and email blast, interviewing the members on podcast, and even providing them with their own podcast. We also make it very affordable for anyone to join, from a basic listing to a bronze, silver, or gold membership. So visit us at Every.Black. Sign up today. Just go to Every.Black, EVERY.BLACK. No .com, no .net. Just Every.Black. .black is the new .com.
Hi, y'all. I do apologize for technical difficulties, but thank you so much, Kim, for jumping in there for me. I really, really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm Camille Richardson. I am usually the MC starting out, So those of you who are just joining, hi, this is me, and I usually don't have technical difficulties like that. So please charge it to my eyes and not my heart. So now I'm going to go over the mission and benefits of Every.Black. So our mission is to assist, educate, and inspire people to create wealth through entrepreneurship by leveraging technology and a strategy of global networking. And how do we do that, you ask? We do that through the Every.Black directory. We also market our members on social media and through email blasts. We educate people about entrepreneurship as well through the Every.Black podcast network. And the best way is every Monday night right here on the Every.Black Mastermind meetings beginning at 8 o'clock on Zoom. So now I'm going to go into the benefits of attending a mastermind meeting. Number one, to discover solutions through brainstorming. The second one is to tap into the experiences and skills of others, to increase your confidence in the decisions you make, be accountable for real progress in your business, obtain an instant and valuable network, develop a sense of family. You are not alone. Innovate from new ideas, and last but certainly not least, boost your everyday positive mental attitude. Our everyday purpose is also twofold. Like I stated earlier, we network with like-minded people, and we also read positive books. And this week we are reading, well, we have been reading the S.B. Fuller book, and Miss Deborah Wright is going to elegantly and eloquently lead us through that reading. So, Ms. Deborah, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Camille. Good evening, everybody. I'm in Wake Forest, North Carolina, and I will be continuing our reading. We're in a section of the book that is talking about a speech that S.B. Fuller made in 1963. And some of his statements in that speech became very controversial. There were responses from Jackie Robinson,
I think we may have lost Deborah tonight. Boy.
Yeah. Deborah?
Well, I'm going to continue to read until she comes back.
Okay.
He said, every group has its Benedict Arnold. Recently in South Africa, they dug up a black chief who was willing to come out in favor of apartheid. Mr. Fuller has attempted the same thing, which is attempted by house Negroes in slavery days, entertaining and reassuring people. The Urban League head said that, to his knowledge, the Chicago businessman had done nothing to help young Negroes get scholarships, as the League has done. He is not cooperating with the National Negro Business League, as the League did, to influence Secretary of Commerce Hodges to obtain loans for Negro businessmen. Unlike those who listened to and applauded Mr. Fuller's nonsense at his session, the really big business people in this nation's presidents and board chairmen who have indicated that they want to listen to Negro spokesmen who will tell them what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear. Dr. Joan Marshall, assistant to NAACP's Executive Secretary Roy Wilkins, characterized Mr. Fuller as a self-made man who, like many other self-made men, tends to believe that anyone could be fortunate if only he possessed the virtues Mr. Fuller evidently believes he possesses. What the NAACP is striving for is a society in which Mr. Fuller may be able to enjoy all the privileges enjoyed by his white fellow members. But Mr. Fuller may not yearn for this kind of social order, but most Negroes do. They realize that racial barriers erected against them do not crumble in the face of individual success. The doors of hotels, restaurants, and other names of public accommodation are as firmly shut to Mr. Fuller in his same native southern state as they were to his less prosperous fellow Negroes. James Farmer, executive director of CORE, commented that Mr. Fuller's speech reveals a shocking ignorance of the Negro position and problems in American life. He slanders his own people by suggesting that the thousands who have given their lives for the defense and improvement of this nation in wartime and in peacetime, that they lack courage, integrity, and loyalty. Mr. Farmer continues, Mr. Fuller seems to believe that racial discrimination does not exist in America in spite of the fact that qualified people are being denied jobs because they happen to be Negroes. He would apparently blame, through some inexplicable knowledge, the victims themselves rather than the perpetrators of bias. Further, he reveals a lack of knowledge when he observes that you cannot legislate a law that is going to get rid of prejudice. Mr. Fuller evidently believes that laws are designed to get rid of prejudice. This is not the case. The New York Courier reprint of the Jesse Jackson column concluded, while none of the leaders quoted know of any plan to establish boycotts against Mr. Fuller's national standing business activities, several representatives of church and social and community organizations told me that they will propose such a boycott. As far as I'm permanently concerned, I have already begun my one-man selective buying program with regard to Fuller products. It seems to me, if it is justified for Negroes to withdraw economic support from whites in business who oppose the freedom struggle, it is equally just to do so with Negroes in public who think as Mr. Fuller does. The Negro who denies the right of his own people to full justice and who pretends not to be aware of racial injustice in America does more disservice to his race and his nation than the most rabid segregationists. I'm going to stop there, and Jimmy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. We lost you for a short while, but then we picked you up again. So thank you for reading. But this is an interesting segment of the book here, where a number of people, actually a lot of people, really disagreed with what S.B. Fuller had to say. They felt that he was not in tune with the plight of things going on at that time in the day. And also began a boycott of his company, of his products. So I'm just curious, does anyone have any thoughts or opinions about that?
Okay, I have to jump in. This is kind of probably. I have been listening to this for a few weeks, but then I said there were too many things that were being said that I wanted to read for myself. And so I finally got the book. Thank you, Miss Ella. An awesome lady, incredible experience. And I just want to tell you that I love S.B. Fuller. I love his vision, and I love the things that he has said, only because the things that he said was designed to bring empowerment to Black people if they weren't so hurt and didn't want to face the truth about themselves. One of the things that in the interview that he did with the U.S. News and World Report, he was asked, did you find racial barriers difficult? His answer was, no, because I sold my own people, my own product. He wasn't trying to fit in. He wasn't trying to integrate. He was trying to empower people who looked like him. So when people came to his company, he put them to work. He had to keep an eye on his Black managers because they wanted to they were very leery to hire white people. But the white people were very much on board because they didn't want to experience the things that they knew Black people were experiencing. And so I think that SB was a visionary. I think that we can't be afraid to see what he's saying as a truth. And I feel like it's unfortunate that there is so much harshness, because when you read what he says, like in one of the other questions, the very first question, well, the second question he was asked, it says about the doors to the Negro is closed, and he says no. And then it says the Negro has the same rights that other people have in America. And so the interviewer says, in what way do you mean? He says he has a right to vote, start a business for himself, find a job, providing there is anyone he can sell his service to. But he has to learn to use those rights. And that's what it all comes down to. It comes down to education. It comes down to the way we've been parented. If we've been parented with power so that we can understand that we are capable of doing anything we put our minds to. And that's all that SB was saying. And it's unfortunate that people took it a different way and then turned around to boycott him when he had done so much to empower his own community. And so I put my mouth shut. I had to say something.
I know you get passionate. I was like trying to let you get your opinion out, get your thoughts out. And I hear you. Does anyone else have any comments to share or any thoughts about what?
I think this is Jackie Bowens out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. I believe that people are so mad about that and upset because it's as if Mr. Fuller is completely ignoring the lynching, the murdering, the rape, the outright, whatever they want to do to Black folks, they do now and did then. It's like it didn't exist. So I think that's what the underlying thing is, that it's like none of that we're just spoiled, and if we're trifling, if we try hard enough, we can make it. And he doesn't really address those hardcore issues of what happened to me. Just totally blew it off. It doesn't, from what he's saying, the comments he made about the Negro being not trying hard enough and all that type thing. It doesn't look as if he's addressing that at all to me.
Okay. Anyone else?
This is Chastity in Raleigh. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I can see both sides. I definitely agree with what Kai was saying. You couldn't get to Mr. Fuller's place without thinking differently from everyone else. And as Kai was saying about being parented like empowerment. And I heard what Ms. Bowens was saying as well, that it seemed like he didn't recognize that. And the downtrodden piece of it. But for me, I thought when she said that, I thought about like everything that's going on now with the protests and everything. And for a while, I refused to go on social media or TV to know what was going on, because I had to take myself out of that mindset. I knew what was going on, but then I had to focus on, well, what can I do with what I have to help my people? And I couldn't stay in that. So I think maybe that's where he was also coming from. Now, something that kind of backs that up is in the interview, I heard the word victim. And so that kind of shows that there was a victim mindset instead of being empowered. And so that's where the differences between the point of views may have arisen. And that was it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we have time for one more comment. If anyone has one last comment, then we have to move on.
Hey, Jeremy, this is Chris from Raleigh.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, I'm gonna compare him real quick. Just economically, I feel like just when I was growing up in the late 80s, and they talked about Michael Jordan selling his shoes, and, Michael said Republicans buy Nikes also. And I mean, just me being in DC when people were getting shot over Jordans all the time, I always felt some kind of way about, Michael having that kind of stance and being silent for years, taking a very similar kind of stance. But then you look at, even the cover of S.B. Fuller's book where it says pioneer in Black economic development. Fast forward to 2020, Michael Jordan is the only Black owner in the NBA. And if you look at his track record, he has quietly provided jobs and created executive opportunities that would not have existed otherwise, very similar to the way S.B. Fuller has. And I'm sure a lot of us sat home and watched The Last Dance and saw how single-minded Michael is. I'm not going to sit here and defend his character 100%, but like other people said, you got to kind of think outside the box and not think like everybody else. And, when you're a pioneer, you're out on a limb by yourself, and that comes with good and bad. I don't know that to look at him in a single prism is fair. I think more than one thing can be true at the same time.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you all for your comments and thoughts. This is an important part of what we do, reading books about entrepreneurship, about people that have done it and learning from it, as well as networking with others. So I'm going to move on because I've got quite a few announcements tonight, and I was trying to trim them back, but the truth is they're just all the things that I really need to share with you. First of all, I want to share with you the Google Podcasters Creator Program. And after the announcements, by the way, I'll do some tech tips, and then we'll have our speaker, Dominique Hart. But anyway, the Google Podcast Creator Program, if you're not familiar with it, and if you're interested in that podcast, or if you have a podcast, it's something you would want to apply for. What they're doing is they're actually investing in the best ideas. And there's a link there down at the bottom where you can actually apply. It's very competitive. I have to tell you that, it's extremely competitive. But they take the best ideas and provide training, equipment, and even funding for the best ideas to get your podcast off the ground. And again, if any of these links too, if you don't get them during the meeting, let me know. We'll be sure to get the links to you. One of our members, Alice Walker, has COVID supplies available, is able to get anything that you might need. And so that's her link down at the bottom. But again, it's kind of long. But if you want to get in touch with Alice, then let us know, or you go to Alice Walker on the website, and she provides COVID supplies. And the thing with their company is they can provide them within a couple of days. The other thing is that I just saw the other day too is that the PPP deadline has been extended to August 8th. Now this actually was from North Carolina, but you might want to check in your local area. But the link that I had here, the reason I didn't put the link there, it was so long, lots of numbers and letters that you wouldn't have remembered anyway, but we can still get that information to you. But the main thing is that you know that the deadline has been extended to August 8th. And Sherelle James, one of our members, and also Michelle Campbell, they're both very knowledgeable about that. If you need some help, that's Sherelle James or Michelle Campbell can help you. And then we also want to make sure that you start thinking about being prepared to vote. And there's a couple of links, whether you're in the military or overseas, you can still vote over on the left there. And that's the link, gives you some information about that. And again, we've got information for North Carolina because that's where we are. But if you check with your local area, I'm sure you can find all kinds of information to make sure that you can vote, especially early voting or voting by mail, and whatever the guidelines are in your particular area. Main thing we want you to be aware. One of our members has the Motivation Readers Mastermind Network. That's Dan and Doris Anderson. And every Tuesday through Saturday, they read books with a discussion for about a half an hour. And I try to call in when I can. It's just a great way to start your day off. So again, I'd encourage you to try them out. And then another one of our members has Eye Opener Tuesday, every Tuesday evening. And that's Fred Foreman, and he addresses a lot of racial issues, especially right now on his show. You might want to be interested in that on the podcast. And then again, Sherelle James, she started a series of the voices of a Black man. And each day for a month, which I think is extended beyond a month now, she is interviewing Black men, and just to hear their side of the story, their voice, things that they want to say and share. And it's becoming a really powerful podcast that she's put together. And that's every day at noon. If you go to voicesofablackman.com for more information about that. This is the Urban Call Briefs column in the OTC magazine, and authored by our friends Lafayette Jones out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we're able to, at times, get some of our members highlighted in this publication. It has over 15,000, it's a national publication, I believe. I know it is. And over 15,000, I think, actual delivered, if I'm not mistaken. And it's also online. But in order to get in the publication, we need a headshot, a nice headshot, a profile, bio of 400 words or less, and some connection to the beauty industry. And it doesn't have to be a direct connection. If your clients are in the beauty industry, You'll be surprised. If you're interested, contact me and we'll see what we can do. We can't guarantee, but we'd love to talk to you about that. And we talk about Sandra Miller Jones and Lafayette Jones. So we put their photo in our presentation because they're very strong supporters of Every.Black and mentors. And they're also the author of that particular column, as well as the publishers of the Urban Call, Healthy Living Every Day. And right now they've got a really important issue that you really should be aware of. If you've recently lost your employer health insurance or anticipate losing your health insurance because you lost your job, even though it may not be in the enrollment period, you still can possibly, you have to talk to the experts, but you can possibly get health insurance at a low cost or very, very low affordable cost. So please, this is really important. If you don't have health insurance or if you're losing it, just give them a call. It doesn't cost anything to call and talk about it to see if you qualify or what you qualify for if you're about to lose your health insurance. And oops, I didn't go back. This is Tiffany Parker, and she's one of our members. She has a podcast called The Healthy Entrepreneur, and we're highlighting Tiffany as the member of the week. Now, I put her on after the Lafayette and Sandra Miller Jones because she also happened to interview Sandra Miller Jones talking about the Affordable Care Act and the options that you may have. And that show is actually being podcast, or it's being aired tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. So actually it's on right now on the Every.Black podcast network. So you can go to entrepreneurship.black at any time and it will be there. And so we just wanted to highlight Tiffany Parker. She's a holistic health coach. I want to also tell you a little bit about Every.Black. Like I said, I had a lot of announcements, so please bear with me, but I just thought they were all important. But Every.Black, we want to encourage you to visit our site, and it's a membership site. Anyone can join. And once you join, we try to promote the members through our social media and email blasts. We also have a weekly members orientation every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern to make sure that our members fully understand their benefits. And Kim Smith conducts that. We also have a directory where we list the members in the directory that's downloadable from the website. We share it at conferences and on our podcast. We're currently updating our directory because we've had a number of new members over the last month or so. And again, I say we promote anything that our members are doing through our email blast and through our social media as well to get the message out to thousands. That's one of the benefits of being a member. You just let us know what you're doing and we get the word out to the world. And also we want to include or ask you to share the meeting tonight. If you're not familiar, we're on Facebook, we're streaming right now. And if you go to your Facebook and pull down to share, some people ask, well, how do I share it? Click on the share button and share the meeting that's going on tonight. We'll appreciate it. And then we also have technology training every Friday at 3 p.m. for the members. We've been doing that over the last couple of months because we realize everyone really needs to come up to speed with their technology skills right now. And then I encourage you to visit our podcast on the Every.Black Entrepreneur Podcast Network. You can get there by going to entrepreneurship.black. And then, of course, our mastermind meetings every Monday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. And please invite a friend. We want to get the word out. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me. Like I said, I had a lot of good information to share with you. And next, I want to talk about the Every.Black tech tips. And what we do each week, I just give a real brief tech tip, something about technology to help you understand it better. And tonight, thought I would talk about the difference between pixel-based images and vector-based images. And if you see the image there, they're side by side, I have a pixel base and I have a vector base. Pixel-based graphics are made up of a lot of tiny dots, literally dots, that are physical squares, whereas vector-based graphics are actually mathematical equations, and there's advantages and disadvantages to both. For example, this is a pixel-based image. Now I took that same image and I blew it up on the right, and you can literally see the dots. in that image. Each one of those dots can be a different color if you use a program like Photoshop. But sometimes the color is so subtle in difference that you really can't tell, but together, when you look at it from a distance, it actually makes a nice photograph. Now, 300 dots per inch is a lot of dots. It's actually literally 300 dots per square inch. And usually you want 300 dots per inch for printing because you want high quality. 72 dots per inch is what I usually use for anything going on the internet, because the quality doesn't need to be as good, but I want to have 72 dots per inch because that makes the file size smaller, which means that it can load onto the web page faster. So 300 dots per inch for print, 72 dots per inch for the internet use, depending on how you're going to be using the image, as a general rule of thumb. And then the difference with vector-based images, it doesn't matter if you shrink it or enlarge it, you don't lose the resolution. It just doesn't matter. So that's the difference with photographs. You can have a lot of detail, but every pixel, every dot is a different color. But with vector-based images, it doesn't matter on the size because it's a mathematical, literally a mathematical equation that's generating that image. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you tonight, the difference between vector-based and pixel-based images. That's your tech tip for the week. Get it out. And what we also do is we always have a Bible verse.
Excuse me, Jimmy?
Yes.
Why don't you, you said kind of how you use the excuse me, the raster-based pixel, but when do you normally use the vector? Could you just speak to that?
Vector is good for logos. Vector is good for if you look at images on on things in the store. When I was providing computer training, I was working with the people at Philip Morris to create vector images for designing cigarette cartons. Those are vector images, or cartoons are vector images. Logos, anytime when you have a certain number of colors, whereas pixel-based images, you could have thousands of colors in a single image. So, but usually, like I say, if you look in your kitchen, most of the things, the boxes, somebody had to create the images to design those boxes and cans. Most of those, I would bet, are going to be vector-based images, graphics to use to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I should ask any questions, but yeah, good question though. Good question. And what we always do is read a Bible verse, or at least Wheatley does. So Wheatley.
Good evening, Every.Black. What then shall we say in response to this? If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? Romans 8:31 and 32. We as believers, the seeds of Abraham, brothers and sisters of Christ, are challenged every day. But God, us being heirs with his son, nothing will be withheld from us. God's covenant cannot be broken. So continue to pray and seek him for whatever you need. Nothing is too hard for God. Until next Monday, use your discernment and be safe, Every.Black family.
Thank you. And next, Jackie, if you would introduce our speaker, and then I'm going to stop this because I think Dominique has sent me something that I need to open. So,
Dominique Hart is a visual branding strategist who is founder and CEO of Dynamic Endeavors. This is a boutique design agency in which Ms. Hart uses her extensive knowledge in marketing and social media to transform brands to achieve a dynamic presence and accelerated profits. This basically means that Ms. Hart makes companies look real good by showing off the unique
edge of each one, all of which increases the bottom line. Ms. Hart's mission is to create a global community of unapologetically creative leaders who will lead their brands to unparalleled acclaim. I now present to you Dominique Hart, founder and CEO of Dynamic Endeavors.
All right. And
Hello. Hi. Hello, everybody.
hello.
How is everybody doing? I know everybody can't speak to me all at one time, but just type in the comments for me to let me know that you are well and here and that you can hear me well. Jimmy, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Perfect. So guys, I'm here to talk about all things visual branding today. Jimmy, thank you so much for inviting me to be here with you guys and partake in everything that you guys are doing. I'm glad that I came on time and ready because from the scripture to the music, to the songs. Oh, awesome. Great. You guys can hear me. From the scripture to the songs, to the very amazing tips, the tech tips, you know, I loved it, right? Vector, images, points, dots, all of that. Oh, I was in heaven. So guys, just know that you are definitely in the right place today, especially with the amazing information that's being shared with you tonight. I know I'm in the right place and I know you are too. Okay. So I don't have to ask. All of you guys are thinking about being in business or already in business or thriving in business. And I'm so elated because I know that that means that you are a person of vision. Okay, you are a person of vision. And so today we're talking about how to create a visual brand that sells. Now, first, before I even go into creating visual brands and all the fun stuff and graphics and colors and all of those details, right? I want to talk to you guys about the difference between branding and the difference between visual branding, okay? There's a difference. People don't know that. Branding is when you actually craft the details of what that business or brand is actually going to stand for. It's the foundation upon of which everything that comes after that, where it actually flows, okay? So you're determining who your customers are, what the brand is going to stand for, the mission, the vision, right? You're determining all of those different details that's going to strengthen who you are in the market. Now, you guys are very new to me, and I loved that intro. There is plenty to see online about who I am, how I've done it in the industry, and so much more. Today, if you have never seen me speak before, I am the content dropping diva, okay? So you want to make sure that you have a good pen, paper, pad, notepad, iPad, whatever in your arsenal, because as I'm sharing these things, one, you're going to hear a lot of great information today that's really going to help you in your businesses, like practical. I'm really practical, guys, right? And so, okay, good. So, and I'm seeing your comments. I'm loving it. So, guys, I'm really practical because one thing that's very important for me, and this is something that Jimmy knows, which is why he brought me here today, is I'm not just talking about fluff. I studied all fluff and everything like that in Temple and at Temple and all the ideologies and theories that makes me the expert that I am today, right? I've covered all of that. So in all of that education, in all of that expertise, I'm here today so that I can give you knowledge that you can actually apply in your business today. Is that helpful? So understand this. When you are developing your brand, you're creating all of the basic information at the bottom that's going to fuel everything, literally everything you do in your business from here on out, okay? Creating a visual brand happens after you have successfully created what your brand is going to be, okay? So today, I'm going to assume that you at least have a business idea, that you at least have a business or thinking about starting a business. This is going to be important for you because when you get to that point, and I need you to hear me very clearly, if you are getting to that point where you are creating your logos and creating your colors and creating your website or having someone else create create your website for you, it's going to be really important, the information that I'm going to be sharing with you today, so that you can go forth successfully. And guys, I need you to hear me very sincerely, very clearly, because we are very clear about the economic climate that we are currently in today, right? We're very clear about the racial climate that we are in today. I need you to hear me that I'm coming from a very sincere place. We have got to show up and show out in this economy in the best possible way. Why? Why am I saying that? Because everyone's eyes are on us right now. I need you to hear me. Everyone's eyes are on us right now. There are people fighting in the streets. There are people fighting in the boardrooms. I am one of those people, right? And so with that, when you show up in a room, not that we haven't been doing it already, because we have, okay, but when you show up in a room, show them why you deserve to be there. Show them why your body butters and beauty products deserve to be in the room or the store or online or in their homes, right? When you show up online, show them why you are just as competitive as the next person. I need you to understand that visual branding helps you to get there. It's not something that you say, I'll get to later. No, no, no. It's something that you start from day one. If I'm speaking the truth, say amen in the comments for me. Because I know I'm in the right house, okay? If I'm speaking the truth, say amen in the comments for me, okay? And so understand this. I got an amen. Okay, so I understand this. This is very, very important, guys, because that's something that actually breaks my heart. And it's actually one of the things why I do what I do in a major way, especially for our people, right? Is because we have some amazing and dynamic entrepreneurs and creators out there in the world. But nothing breaks my heart more than when we just slap a sticker on it and call it a day and say, yeah, this is going to make me $1 million. No, that's not how commerce works. Right? It's not how commerce works. We got to come out there with our A game, because when other people go out there into the market, they're coming with their A game, and they win every time because they're coming with their A game while we're coming with B's and C's and D's. Right? And so understand that everything that I'm about to tell you, and I'm going to tell it to you one by one, how to create a visual brand that sells, it's going to help you to show up with your brand, with your business. I don't care if it's a service, a product, it does not matter. Don't ask, will this work for me? I'm gonna tell you, it will. And so with that, it's going to be very important as you move forward. If I say something today and it causes you to rethink everything you've been doing, beautiful. Right? Because on the other side of that is going to be a better brand, a better business for the world to see. And that is a joyful moment. Okay? All right. So let's dive into some content, because I only got a short amount of time with you guys. Okay? So the first thing as to what you are going to need to do in order to create a visual brand that sells, hear me, is you are going to need to live the vision. Now, Dominique, what does that mean? I need you to write that down. What does that mean? Living the vision. What is that? Living the vision has everything to do with you. Now, I need you to hear me clearly. When you are living the vision, understand that this is probably one of the only moments where we are actually going to be talking about you. Everything else is about your customers, your clients, and what they will love and what they will buy. Okay? So, living the vision. That means that you are taking on your crown, your creator crown of being what I like to call a dynamic creator. Dominique, what is a dynamic creator? A dynamic creator is a person, an entrepreneur like yourselves, who understands that they are the creator of every wonderful thing in their life. And they have the power to create everything to be successful in this world to create change in this world, to be dynamic in this world. They know that they have the ability to solve problems because they are a creator first, not a business person first, not a salesman first, not a designer first, not an inventor first, not an innovator first, but you are a creator first. All the way back to the Bible. God created us to be this way, and therefore that is how we should walk in the earth at all times, knowing for a fact that we are indeed creators. Because as you can tell by now, some of you guys more than others, you will know that you're going to hit some hard blocks out of being an entrepreneur. Your business is going to hit some hard blocks. So in those hard moments, it's important for you to remind yourself that I am a creator, and the problem, right? The solution to this problem starts with me. It starts with me. I can create my way out of this. I can create my income that I want to see. I can create the movement that I want to see. That is very important to know and acknowledge as you are going through your business journey. Okay? And so the very first thing, like I said before, is to live the vision. Now, this is a part of my ultimate system, which is something that we use in my agency, Dynamic Endeavors, as you guys have heard in my intro. And that is my online boutique creative agency. Okay, we have an international team here at Dynamic Endeavors that creates so many great brands, websites, and things of that nature all across this nation. Okay, and so understanding this, that as you live the vision, it's the very first thing, and it's a part of our dynamic method is what we call it, our dynamic method that we bring each client through. So understand that tonight, what I'm teaching you is exactly what we do in our agency. Okay, if we don't do anything different, I do what I preach. Okay, I do what I preach. And so with that, it's important to know that it's important to live the vision, because everything, like I talked about the difference between branding and visual branding, right? Everything comes from that moment. The moment you decide that I am a dynamic creator, and the moment that you decide what the vision is for this brand, for this company, it is going to benefit you greatly. Okay, it is going to benefit you greatly. It's going to benefit you with people who you may hire to be on your team. It's going to benefit you greatly with the customers that you may have, that you will have, excuse me. You will also, it will also benefit you with the different contractors or designers or creators who you may bring in your world. So it doesn't matter who you do or who you do it with or how you do it, you are going to need to know that I am a creator and I need to live the vision. What is this vision that I'm creating for my company and why? Right? Because it's very important, especially as a designer myself. Designers, although we have all of these images in our head and we can create like just by closing our eyes, we can't create what's going to be effective for you until you define this for yourself. A lot of times, especially earlier on when I first started my agency, I would get clients that they would just say, Dominique, you're amazing. Just create anything. I trust you. Just create anything. And I'd be like, it doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. I need to know your vision. Every designer is going to say this. They're going to ask you about your business, going to ask you what you want. What are your ideas? What are you thinking? What's your vision? They should. If they're not, that's a problem. But they should, because that design is going to feed into that vision that you created from day one. If you follow me, say I follow in the comments. Okay. So if that is not established in the beginning, you are going to be bumping your head as you keep going on down the trail. That's why the dynamic method is so important, because it saves you from headache on down the road, right? So even if you have to go back, remember I said that if you have to go back to the drawing board, okay, if you have to go back to the drawing board today, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? She's like, I follow in the comments. I love it, guys. Okay. So it's going to save you from a lot of headache moving on down the road. Okay. So let's move on. Let's assume that you've established the vision. Let's assume that you are now living the vision. And let's assume that you now have come into this beautiful thought that you are now a dynamic creator. I want you to put that in the comments. Even if you have to say it to yourself, I want you to say, I am a dynamic creator. You can put that in the comments. I am a dynamic creator. Now, if you know anything about me, dynamic is always spelt with a K anytime you're talking about Dominique. Okay? So because a lot of you are new to me, I'll let you slide for right now. I'll let you slide. So it's spelled D-Y-N-A-M-I-K. D-Y-N-A-M-I-K. K stands for a lot of things in that name, but one of the first things that it stands for is kingdom. Yeah, kingdom, right? And so as you go out there and you are creating your visual brand, understand that as a dynamic creator, you are walking with kingdom first. Ain't that awesome? So that is one of the things. There's a whole other thing about that, but I want to move on to my second tip for you out of what we call our dynamic method here at Dynamic Endeavors. Is something else that we bring our clients through is to really, and this flows right into what I'm about to say, it's called determining your GPS. Now I'm gonna say that again. I need you to your GPS, because here's the thing. Once you have said I am a dynamic creator, you need to know where to go, right? I need to know, where am I taking this ship? Right? I'm on this ship, I'm driving this ship. I need to know, where am I taking it, right? I need to know, how am I going to differentiate myself? And this is really equated to, which is something that we strongly do in my agency, is strategy. You have to have a strategy when you are creating a visual brand that sells, right? Breaking up GPS. Yes, Carrie, GPS. All right, GPS. So you are determining your GPS, all right? And so, like I said, it's important for you, once you have that dynamic creator hat on, that you understand, where am I taking this ship? So if I have a tech services company, what kind of tech are we doing here, right? Are we creating apps, or are we creating infrastructure, right? And if we are doing either of the two, how are we doing it differently than our counterparts? Right? How are we solving a need that we know our clients, no matter who, color, doesn't, creed, gender, doesn't matter, that we know that they are going to need, right? How are we doing that? What does that look like, right? What do I want them to feel when they work with us? These are all important questions. Write that down. How do I want clients to feel when they work with me? It's not enough to just say it. They got to feel it too, right? Why is that important in creating a visual brand, Dominique? Well, one of the things that we ask our clients all the time is that very question. How do you want your clients to feel when they work with you? You have to determine what that is, because that's going to help us as designers, or even yourself, to determine what kind of aesthetic or what kind of look is going to be best for the company and the brand that you are establishing or revamping. That's very important. That's the difference between different hues of purple. That's the difference between different colors altogether. That's the difference between writing style, whether we're going to use cursive or sans serif or just a good old serif font, right? It determines a lot, guys. It determines a lot. So it's important to know that, right? Very, very important. Follow me here. So we now live the vision. We have determined our GPS. We now know where we're going to take our brand, how we're going to position ourselves, and we're sticking to it. Okay? We are sticking to it. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to master your brand elements. Write that down. The third step, master your brand elements. Okay? So these are all key principles that work together to create a strategic visual brand that sells. You can't have a successful brand without strategy. So determining your GPS is very important, okay? Now, I know I only have a short amount of time, so I'm giving it to you guys really direct and straight, okay? So you've done that, you determine your GPS. Next, what I want you to do is I want you to master your brand elements. One of the ways in which you do that, and this is another reason why I said I love what Jimmy shared with you guys today. I don't know if that was the ultimate setup, Jimmy, but I'm glad you did it. When he talked about the different pixels and vector and understanding the differences between that, that's important. Sometimes we'll get things from clients, or if we're, or even different publications, when they are requesting materials from you, it's important that you have the right files to give them so that your brand continues to shine. So I want you to master your brand elements. What always has to be in your logo, right? If it's a significant symbol or a significant item that stands out for you and your brand, make sure that that's included in your brand at all times. Never forget it, right? One of the little small things, and this is a little bit off the cuff here, but I'm going to share it with you. One of the things that's really important to me is bling. Now, you might be like, bling, what are you talking about? Child, I love me some bling, whether it be my ears, my pen, my brand, anywhere, right? But notice when you guys, go ahead and search me online, it's never overdone. And if anything, it's on me and around me. Not necessarily gold and glitter all over my brand, right? You don't necessarily have to do that. But some people, they do that, and that's okay. Why? Because that is a brand element that has to be a part of their brand no matter what. And because you are living the vision, and this is really important, I want you to listen to me. Because you are living the vision, you are not overdoing it because it's who you are. And especially for those of you guys who are creating brands that includes your personal selves, okay? She's like, yes, I was eyeing the necklace. I love it. I love it. But that is me, right? I'm not overdoing it. I didn't go out of my way to get this necklace. This is me. I like it. I don't like to overdo it. I like a little splash. I have clients, they love to overdo it. Hey, that's your thing. We're going to make it presentable and in a way that communicates who you are. So I want you to master those brand elements. If that is your colors, anytime that you are visually representing yourself, I want you to wear your colors boldly. Don't forget them. Okay. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. She said she loves the necklace. I want you to do it boldly. All right. And Jimmy, just let me know how much time I got here. And so I want you to do it boldly. And so that's really important because that helps people to recognize you. That's the visual brand elements that makes you you. That's why when we see McDonald's or Coca-Cola or any of those natures, they have a specific brand that they never change ever because it represents who they are. Right? Great info, Dominique. Thank you so much, Kavita. I really appreciate that. Because they're consistent with it. They never change it, and it doesn't matter even if it's a graphic. Even if it's a graphic, it's always included in their work. Why? Because it represents who they are. It represents that brand. It represents everything that they are trying to get you to buy. So if the bigger brands can do it, sure can you. You sure can. And that is what I need for you guys to understand. It's that consistency, okay? It is that consistency that's going to create those efforts for you. It's that consistency in how you show up every time that's going to make people like, oh, I know you, right? One good colleague of mine, if you've ever heard of her, she is the Budgetnista, Tiffany Parker. Love her. She is a beautiful colleague of mine. And every time clients or people see her brand or see her show up, right? Every time people see her show up, she always has these green bracelets on. It's these green money bracelets, and it has her brand name on them. Even if it's a beautiful, big, amazing photo shoot, she always has it on, right? She doesn't always have it on just because you know, she just feels like it and it's kind of cool. No, she has it on because it helps people identify who she is. Now, is it the only marker that does that? No. But it's a little thing that helps people to know, I know her. She always has the bracelets on. Can I have one? Why is that important? That's important because, especially if people are asking for it, right? It's important because it helps people to identify you, and they know that when they see it, they're in for a treat, and they want to be a part of it. So much so that when she is on her speaking engagements before COVID, that people come up to her and say, "Can I have one?" Right? It helps her to stand out. Yes, absolutely, Kim. Yes. And so it helps her to stand out, where people are just like, what's that on her arm? Oh, that looks like she has more than one. Oh, I want one. Why do they want one? Because they now believe that they are a part of her brand and her world. So why do I say that? Because even if you are creating things, and these are for those of you when COVID lifts from this world that we're living in, ever go into a bad listening, and you are creating a present vending space, you know, when you have tables and you're vending and all of those things, I want of what are you giving away? There's so much to talk about in this one, but I want you to think about that. And that comes back to you living your vision, because you are establishing what this brand is going to stand for. What does it believe? What do you want your people to get in your GPS, right? You're determining your GPS and saying, this is how I want to attack this problem in my industry. And here's how I want people to feel around me. Yeah. And so therefore it determines, what elements am I giving away? What elements do people see when they see me, when I'm represented, right? If purple is your game, then I need to see purple. Right? If you are doing a live like this, I need to see purple somewhere. And it doesn't have to be overkill, right? Unless that's your brand. If that's it, if that is, then go for it. I have colleagues, they have beautiful pink backgrounds, beautiful glitter backgrounds. I love it, but that is who they are. And every time you see that glitter background, every time you see that pink background, every time you see that purple background, they know what they're in for. They know they're in the right place. Right? So that's really, really important. Guys, listen to me. When you master your brand elements, that's how people remember you. Yeah? Even if in the words that you're saying, if you have a certain catchphrase, I need you to continue to say it. Right? Because it helps people to remember who you are, even in the mental. Can you attest to the fact that when you are reading a really good book, I mean good, that you are creating a picture in your mind about what you're reading? That's because words create vision as well. Words create visual pictures as well. And so the last two things that I want to say, and I'm going to go over them very quickly, and some of them I have been talking about, but once again, going back to Jimmy, is I need you to incorporate the proper tools. The right technology is going to put you in the right space every time. It's going to help you to show up dynamic every time. Okay. So if you're trying to achieve something, I need you to come back with the proper tools that's going to help you to do it, and not in a subpar fashion. Stick to the vision, stick to the dream. And the last thing I want to say is you need to remain consistent. Okay. Is that fair? I need you to remain consistent with that, because that consistency is what's going to help people to remember you. That consistency is what's going to make people buy from you, because that tells them you're not flaky. Everybody hates a flake, right? It tells them that you're here to stay, and you are here to serve, and you are here to be dynamic in their world. So guys, I hope that these tips have been important to you. I'm going to list them one by one again. It's the first thing that's really important is for you to live the vision. We love that, right? The second thing I need you to do is to determine your GPS. The third thing I need you to do is to master your brand elements. The fourth thing I need you to do is incorporate the proper tools to help you to show up dynamically. Okay. And the last thing I need you to do is to remain consistency. Everyone hears consistency is key. That is a phrase for a reason, because that consistency helps you to show up and sell every time. And when you implement these elements, these core elements, now there are more elements in our dynamic method system, but if you really want to create a visual brand that sells, that brings in the bank every time, focus on these elements, whether you're working with a designer or you are doing it for yourself. And I promise you, you will see change and you will see the bank roll coming in. Guys, thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much time. My name is Dominique Hart. I am a visual brand strategist. I am the founder and creator of Dynamic Endeavors. We serve globally, especially here in the United States. Guys, I am here for you. We are here for you. We create high-end graphics, high-end websites. I see the claps. Thank you, Christopher. I see the claps. Thank you guys so much. And guys, I am here. I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for the rest of the day. So no worries about that. Jimmy, if there are any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm here to serve, and it is my pleasure to serve you guys today, guys.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, Dominique, you're going to make them all mad at me for shutting you down. But great information. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
And I met Dominique a few years ago in DC at the Power Networking Conference, and the passion came through then, and it comes through today, just the same. Any questions for Dominique? We got maybe a question, time for one, but she's going to be around to talk when we're going to a chat area.
Awesome.
I think somebody was trying to say something.
Thank you.
Was someone saying something?
Any questions? I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Well, let me just ask you, what is one of the common things you run into when you start working with people that you see over and over, the thing people need the most help with to change that mindset?
Yeah, I think, and I talked about it earlier on, because this really is one of the top things that happens all the time, is we'll get people who, amazing creators, let's be very clear, amazing at what they do, right? But what happens a lot is their vision is not clear. And so often we have to backtrack. To even get to a point where the team and I can understand how we're going to make their brand and their vision dynamic. And so that's why in our dynamic method, we always start there, because it makes the communication a lot easier in order for us to get the details that we know that we need in order to create that visual product in the end. And it's to also understand that the process takes time. Some people get it right off the bat. Some people don't, right? Some in terms of crafting that brand. Sometimes people get it right in the beginning, and some people, it takes a little time, right? And so it's important to know that and to not be hard on yourself about it, right? There's a reason why, and I'm just going to use McDonald's. I don't eat much McDonald's anymore, but it's a good example. It's the reason why McDonald's has revamped their brand over time. They've kept their brand elements, right? We know those markers that makes them, but they've spruced it up a bit, right? Because they wanted to match the direction that they're taking the brand in that decade, in that space of time, etc. And so that's really important, guys, okay? That when you are, yes, Carla, it definitely takes a lot of time. And so as you are working with your designers, as you are working, even if you are in a space where you have to do a little grassroots efforts yourself, that is fine. Understand that is okay, right? But it's really important for you to understand, where do I want to take this? And how can I best communicate that so that someone else can take on the vision as well and implement what I need to succeed? So that work in the beginning is really important. And even if you don't have a concept of what you want the brand to be just yet, it helps your designers to get brainstorming on your behalf as well. And that's when they get to show you options and give you choices and things of that nature, because you have been able to clearly communicate, whether that be through images or words or just sharing what you want that brand to be. It makes the communication a lot more easier, so to speak. Is that helpful?
Yes. I think what we're going to have to do at this time, though, is we have to move on, but we're going to come back to that area. Yeah. Last week was my birthday, and we put together a song, Stevie Wonder with Az, and we're just going to play that. I think you're going to like it. Awesome. And then we're going to do breakout sessions, so you get a chance to actually talk to one another. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And I don't know if you noticed, I added Dominique in there.
I did. I saw that. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're part of the family now.
Yeah.
We're going to have some breakout rooms here. Let's see. To give you a chance to network with one another. Again, when you get into the room, whoever's wearing the most green, since Dominique's wearing green, or at least I don't know what she's wearing. Anyway, whoever's got the most bling on is the leader in the breakout room, and have 60 seconds to introduce yourselves to one another, and then we'll bring you back to the main room. So we'll make the rooms smaller, or more rooms so you have more time. So get to know somebody. I hope you're having fun in there, because I mean, it's funny, you know, you don't know who you're going to be matched up with. This might be in some rooms where everybody's talking, to other rooms people are quiet. So
yeah, I had everybody was talking.
Yeah, Jimmy, we'll cut you off when it's time. You're gonna know it's time.
Well, yeah, I'm used to getting cut off. Like I'm used to pushing it to the last. I saw the 1 minute timer, and I'm used to that. I would usually push through it. I was trying to share my screen, click something else, and it was like, oh, I didn't mean to click that button.
You ought to have a contest, Jimmy, so you can finish up right before you hit that buzzer, because we can always, you know, make it a contest or something, because we're always in the middle of something trying to finish up real quick. Yes. That contest to do it.
Pressure on you.
We're a little late getting started between, Dominique's talk. I didn't want to stop because, I mean, she gave valuable information.
Yes, she did.
I was debating whether or not to show the Stevie Wonder, but some of us hadn't seen it from last week, so I thought, well, I'll show that.
That was nice, though.
But anybody want to hang, like, we're going to keep the line open until 10 anyway, so. And I think Dominique might be hanging around too, so.
Yeah.
I just want to say hi to Michelle. Hi, Michelle. This is Stan.
A shout out.
Hey, Michelle. Oh, wow. Hi, Michelle.
I thought I saw her earlier.
We missed her on the Motivation Readers Mastermind Network. She did a great job for us that night.
Is everybody back?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to close out with prayer, and then we're going to just leave it open. So let's see.
Dominic, thank you so much.
Oh,
Jimmy, don't forget about the polls.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You want me to go and do the polls?
Hold on. Before we do the polls.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we started this meeting with you, and we're closing it with you. Thank you for making this meeting a success. We would not have done it without you, because many are our plans, but it is you who establishes them. May the things we've learned today stir our hearts and minds, and may we put them into action. May what we've learned impact our lives, families, friends, and the rest of the world positively. In Jesus' name, we believe and pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Kim, you can start the poll now.
Okay.
Because.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Yes.
We got a birthday girl. Actually, it's tomorrow, but I figure we're so close.
Happy birthday to
I missed the tech tips, and I lost so much by missing those.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes, happy birthday.
Who's that? Whose birthday is it?
Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday, Kim.
Thank you so very much.
Happy birthday, Kim and Dominique. That was a great talk tonight.
Oh, thank you so
Yes,
much.
it
Happy
was.
birthday, Kim. Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday, Kim.
Thank you. And Dominique, I enjoyed your presentation, and I think color has everything to do with it.
Yes.
color and that bling bling, girl.
Color and bling bling that
Yes,
makes you stand out like never before. They will see you and what you got to sell and offer.
And you got on purple, Kim, and that's royalty.
That's right, because guess what? I know what colors look good on me. I don't wear a lot of pastel. I wear medium tones because of my complexion.
And purple is my favorite color.
Yes.
I love it. I love it, guys.
Dominique, I gave you my email in the chat.
Yes, I was actually responding to you, and then I was like paying attention to everything. I don't want to miss anything. What did Jimmy say?
And thank you, everybody. And don't be scared of red. I think somebody said they were scared of red. I'm not scared.
Well, you know what? You know we love red, don't you?
Do not fear red. Red is a very powerful color.
I love red.
And it can also be warm.
Yes, it is.
Well,
red is a powerful color. That is a color, a signal for, a sign for power, isn't it? Red and purple, red, and what else? Black, of course.
Yeah, you just have to make sure if you're in LA, you don't wear red in certain parts.
In certain parts,
yes. That could
Or
not
blue.
turn out for you.
Or blue in certain parts.
These days it's not as bad as it was. You can what you do is you confuse people by wearing both.
Then you get shot from both sides.
No, then you're just not sure.
It press you twice then.
Who you
I know, right?
represent?
You got twice.
Confuse people by wearing both. That's funny. That is too funny.
Well, I was gonna say at this time there's no agenda from here on out until about another 2 minutes. I got a couple of songs to close out, but no agenda. But if you have any questions for Dominique, this is the last chance you might get for a while, so you might take advantage of it.
Dominique, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Dominique, this is Von Zell from Durham. I wanted to ask you this question.
Yes.
Because of one of your, I'm sure this is one of your master brand elements.
Yes.
Is a phrase you may use. What's the phrase that you use that everybody know? They can almost finish it with you when you say it.
Well, I would say that it's not even a phrase, it's a word, and that is dynamic. Slowly but surely, as I've progressed throughout my career and my journey as an entrepreneur, that is what I become known for. And especially when clients are working with us, they begin to see what that looks like working with us, and especially myself. And so for people who don't know, like a lot of you guys, I'm introduced to you guys for the first time. And so I will get that. They will be like, well, okay, it's dynamic. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, it's spelled a little differently. Okay. All right, cool. And then when they really become a part of our world, they're like, no, Dominique is really dynamic. Like, that's your girl. Right. And so that ends up happening just on its own. Right. But once again, because of how I've lived the vision for all of our brands, how I've lived the vision and charted that GPS for everything, I know for a fact that the end result that I want clients to have or my audience to have is to know that I am dynamic. We are dynamic. We operate dynamically, and we want them to end with a dynamic result in their brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to share something with everyone. When I met Dominique, and like I said, it was a couple of years ago, and Ryan and I, we had a podcast and we interviewed her one Saturday morning, but we're at the conference, we were trying to find a good place. And so we found this one large room that wasn't being used, and Dominique got on one end and I got on the other, and Ryan was back in North Carolina, and we started doing the interview. Well, if you notice, Dominique works with her hands. She talks with her hands. And I kept hearing this noise, and I realized it was all of her bling. She's jingling like she's trying to talk. I said, Dominique, you got to keep your hands still because we're getting all that sound, that feedback. But she really made me think about, because we had all these vendors, right, from all over the place. And she really made me look at the vendors, and you could see which ones were consistent and which ones were doing what, and which ones were just throwing stuff together. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really think about it the way I did until she pointed those things out. I was like, yeah, you're right. And so actually at that time I decided, and I told her then, I'll tell you now, when I can save up enough pennies, when Every.Black gets a little bigger, I want to hire her to really brand us.
Oh. Well, Jimmy, you already know that's coming, so
yeah, Dominique. It's coming.
Dynamic. It's gonna be dynamic.
we better become fast, because as she blows up, her price is going to be going up. So
No, that's right.
We're gonna put it on layaway. We'll put it on
all the
layaway.
blame.
Layaway.
All the blame.
Did you say layaway?
Layaway? No way. You don't put people on layaway.
All right, the payment plan now.
I do got a question now. Get grandfathered in, man.
Get on a payment
Exactly.
plan now.
Yeah, I got a question for the host.
Yes,
Dominique.
absolutely.
Yeah, well, I would first say thank you, Miss Jimmy. You probably don't remember me, but I came to one of your local events in Raleigh maybe about
okay, great.
a year ago, and I've been on your email feed. I just decided to join the night. That night you had a lady from Wilson or something. She was doing a book, so she did some decoration for Obama and them. I came that night.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah. Carnella Hill.
Yeah, this was a while ago. So Dominique, I just want to ask, does intellectual property right incorporate with any of this or what you're talking about as far as like?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked the question, because we were actually talking about that before the 40 seconds started to kick in. Kick us back into the main room. It goes hand in hand, because your intellectual property actually helps you to solidify that brand that you have now created, that you will be going out into the world and people will begin to know who you are, right? And that is a part of that recognizable factor, right? Same thing with the McDonald's of the world and the Coca-Colas and everything about it. Every signature aspect that makes them unique is copywritten, patented, or trademarked, okay? Patents are if you are creating something and you want to put your stamp on it that, yes, I'm the one who created this thing, like technology and things of that nature. If you are constructing something or composing something, etc. Trademarks help the visual aspects of what you create. So your logos, in particular, those are the main elements, like a logo, a mark, even a name. So let's say you have a signature service, right? That the dynamic method, as we have, it's our signature service. It's our signature way of being here, right? So that is trademarked, but that is trademarked as a service name. Copyrights, and this is really important for right, really help
froze up a little bit.
This work
you gotta go back about 5 seconds.
Repeat that.
You froze up.
I did. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, back up a minute. Back up a little bit.
Okay. Good. Copyright. Copyrights, yes. So copyrights, especially for my authors out there, it's really good for you, especially to solidify that this work is mine. And if anybody else tries to take my words without my permission, I have documentation that this is mine. So it's really important that you make those steps after you've created your work. So that way you can truly solidify it and stand proudly and strongly in knowing that this is truly customly done and this is my own. So that's a really great question. So thank you for that.
Does it cost a lot to do any of that? Or
it depends. It depends on who you work with. It depends on the attorney that you work with. We have strategic partners that we work with our clients when they need trademarking services or if they don't have anything trademarked. So it depends on who you work with, but also keep in mind that the trademark process is very separate from who you work with. I need
what does that mean?
So I'm gonna break it down for you. So who you work with is a fee. The trademarking process is another fee, right?
Okay.
So you're dealing with government and things of that nature. There's a process in getting your trademark. So with the application process, an attorney might help you through that part. But if the government comes back, if the trademark office comes back and says, hey, you got to change something here, or we have questions about something here, that can sometimes be another fee from your attorney to respond to that. And these are things you want to ask them. Hey, when working with you, do you cover everything of making sure that I'm really, truly solidified with my trademark? Or are there extra fees that I should know about? This is not a hidden thing, but sometimes people don't know to ask. And so this is even something that a lot of our partners ask our clients. And so they will divulge that information. They should divulge divulge that information to you to say, hey, we do have fees associated with doing these things for you. It can be a complicated process depending on how your application goes. So technically, yes, you can do it yourself, but really my suggestion, because you guys have so many other great things to do with your brands and businesses, that I would just really have an attorney do that and ask them what are their fees, if they have an all-inclusive price, or can they break it down into payments, whatever. But it's really worth it in the end, because you're then able to take those trademarks, copyrights, and patents and go out into the world and charge money for the use of those items. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah.
Excuse me, Dominique.
Yes, you're absolutely
we got to
welcome.
make sure it is an intellectual property attorney.
Yes.
Don't go with any. Don't go with a general.
I beg you. Please let it be uniquely your own. You can't. There's so much to say about this. Fiverr is not always going to be your best friend in the intellectual property market. Okay.
Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for saying a lot of things. Listen, when we get wrapped around fees, you have to also think about the worth of your trademark too, like Dominique was saying, because it's worth those fees.
Yes.
You know, in the long run.
Yes.
You know, it's when you look at the value of what you're trying to put out there, it's like, okay, if someone comes and take this from me, I lost more than what I paid in the fees.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So much. It's so, you know, we get wrapped around sometimes fees and costs, but sometimes you got to just bite down and just do it, because it's going to protect you in the long run what it is that you're trying to put out there that you don't want anybody else to take. Because I was just telling Dominique, you got to trademark your vision boards nowadays. So.
Oh, yes. What were you saying, Lachey? Like, people can come and pluck it off.
Your vision board, next thing you know, somebody walking around was like, wait a minute, I know that was on my vision board. I ain't changed the life yet. Right. And you walking around here with it. So you got to make sure that you protect yourselves and the things that you want to do with because you work too hard. You work too hard with your ideas and getting and sitting down and coming together and working with a great mentor and great business coach. And you come and you got all these ideas. And now you see them come into life. You see the seeds that you sowed now sprouting. And the last thing you need is some weed to come and take
exactly
you got going on, when you could have protected it, watered it, nurtured it with something called trademark. So there you go, Dominique.
You know, it is so, I think, who asked the question? Samug, is that your name? Hopefully I'm reading it right. But it's so interesting that he, once again, asked the question, and I'm going to talk about Fiverr again, because, and I'm going to tell you a story. So I had a client, and she was, you know, she just like, hi, Dominique. And she loved everything about our presentation and everything of that nature. And we finally got a chance to sit down. It was virtually. And she was just like, oh yes, I need everything else but the logo. The logo is it's done perfectly, exactly how I want it. I know it's mine and everything of that nature. And I was like, okay. I said, all right, we'll see how that goes, right? That's something else, going back to your question again, Jimmy, something that comes up is sometimes we get clients who are really attached to their logo, which is fine, guys. Okay, it's fine. Right? They're really attached to their logo, that maybe the first one or the second one that's been created, and they like it how it is, but they don't want to change it. But then when they start to see how the process is unfolding with the new designs, they're like, could we circle back on this logo thing? Right? And that happens. So be open to the process, because something old and something new doesn't always clash in a great way. So just be mindful of that. But she was really attached to the logo. She was really proud of it. But then as I started to do a search online, something I always do, I found her logo in multiple places being used by different brands. And I circled back and I asked her, one thing with me, I'm very direct. That's the New Yorker in me, but I'm always kind. I'm always classy about it. And I asked her, I said, where exactly did you get your logo? She said, oh, I found this great person. They were on Fiverr, but I know it's mine because I used the,
search, some kind of search or something.
She used the name is escaping me and I should know this, but it's not a cease and desist. It's
She looked for it.
Well, she used basically a document saying you can't, share this or do this with anyone else, whatever.
Oh,
it's a very simple name and it's escaping me right now. But anywho, she used that and she felt confident that it wasn't being used. And I politely showed her, I think I did a screen share of my screen or something, and I sent it to her and I said, "Is this your logo?" And she was just like, "What do you mean? Yes, that is. It's mine." And I said, and I said to her, and I said, "You have to be careful with using these sites because yes, you get something quick and easy, or even if you pay for the little extras, but it doesn't solidify that it's yours." And that's the difference between working with contractors you can't really see, touch, talk to, all that kind of stuff. You have to look at the paperwork and make sure, do I have exclusive rights to what you created for me? That is important. And if you do not get a document of some sort that signs off on that, that can be very critical as you start to climb the success ladder, right? And so with that, she was really shocked. And then of course we had to revamp and things of that nature. And then she went on and she's doing some really fabulous things now. She's always doing fabulous things. She's fabulous, darling. But she's now in a better place. And then we also got in our trademarking strategic partners, and they absolutely were able to step in and at least guide her, right, in knowing what to do. So it's really important, guys, that you take intellectual property very seriously. Once you've found a really good secret sauce or a really good logo that you really love, take that and take trademarking very seriously, right? That especially when you've got something good, and especially if you're working with a professional and you love the end result, really consider trademarking so that you truly can have that little R, knowing that you can use that mark in the industry. It's a game changer for sure.
Dominique. Oh, I'm sorry. Let that young lady go ahead of me.
While we were talking about trademarks, I just had a question because I've had somewhat of a not so good experience. I got a trademark through a company. I'm not going to say their name right now.
Okay.
And the first couple of years, it was fine. Everything was fine. But now that I'm trying to renew my trademark, I'm having trouble with communication. And I've paid them their initial fee. And I ended up contacting the USPTO office myself, and I spoke with a really nice lady, and she told me that she could help me if I decided to trademark another that I want to do. But is there any recommendations that you could give to kind of point in the right direction? Because like I said, this company was great initially, but I think their lawyer actually went through some type of litigations, and they weren't doing some things on the up and up. They're still in business, but I'm just having trouble with them kind of responding back to me and letting me know what's going on with my current registered mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a couple, two main trademark attorneys and companies that we work with, depending on your price point and things of that nature. I will put it in the chat for you. But yeah, I do have some recommendations because I don't want to, clearly I'm not an attorney. I'm a visual brand strategist. So there's only about so much I can say. But even though I know a lot, I know that they can guide you a whole lot further than I ever can. So yeah, I will definitely put those recommendations for you in the chat for sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll make it public so everybody can get that as well.
Dominique, what I wanted to ask is,
yes.
This is Stan Anderson. I'm in New York also. I'm out in Jamaica.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm from Queens.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hey, it's my neighbor. So I'm with the Motivation Readers Mastermind Network, and we do what we do every Tuesday through Saturday and on Wednesday evenings. But this may sound stupid, but is your trademark and what you want to brand, are they always the same thing? Is the trademark in your logo always the same thing?
The trademark in your logo.
Yeah. If you want to trademark what do you actually?
So the logo becomes the trademark.
Becomes the trademark.
Yes.
Okay.
The logo becomes the trademark, whatever that visual. So I even have a client that worked with us through their discovery with us. We have a really in-depth research process with every client that we start with. It's called our dynamic discovery. And in that process, they have a character that's associated with one of their services and products that is also trademarked as well. So if any of you guys are creating cartoon work or anything of that nature, and you have a character that's been I'm saying designed, but created, right? Then you can also trademark that as well. Any visual representation of your products and services and business and brand, that can be trademarked, okay? So if you're creating a children's book or something like that, and you want to trademark those characters, you can do that, as well as copywriting the words of the actual literary work as well. So be mindful of that. And no question is ever silly or stupid with me. Please, like, ask away. Well, clearly not tonight, but anytime, because we only got about so much time. And we said 10 o'clock, so we're not gonna do anything crazy. But yeah, so definitely know that no question is silly with me, because my job as an expert is to educate you, is to help you, is to guide you, is to move you along, and to be able to see down the road in ways in which you may not be aware of. And so that's my job to know. And it's your job to just soak it in, right? And collaborate and grow and build and learn. That's your job. So don't feel like any question is ever silly or nothing. Don't feel like that at all. And then also, because you guys are the talent. You guys are the ones who are running the engine. You guys are creating your businesses and making them known and making them wide and making them wonderful and great. And so there's going to be information you're not going to know, right? There's information I didn't know, and I had to go find it. And I had to go and learn from the best and things of that nature. And so that's important to our growth, is that we learn, is that we grow and find the experts who can help us and are not willing to share. So, and who are willing to share. So yeah,
thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Dominique, thank you.
Ooh, what's the video, Jimmy? What we watching? What's this?
It's coming.
I think he's trying to.
Well, thanks everybody. Next week, Sherelle James is going to be our speaker.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're still here, sleepy, but still here.
Good night, everybody.
People still on the call,
Good
Jimmy.
night.
21 people.
I
Yep.
included
everybody.
for everybody.
Oh.
I did include
Good night now, again.
information in the chat. So if you guys wanted to stay connected or anything of that nature, feel free to do that. Jimmy, I did have a free gift for everyone, but we got into all the juicy details. I didn't get a chance to share it. So I will share that link. It's an MP3 recording where I talk more about the dynamic method and about being a dynamic creator. And I also give you more insight into myself as well, and how that actually connects both worlds there. And so you will also, I'll put that link also in the chat, but our website for our agency is dynamicendeavors.com. And for me personally, if you want to have me speak to your organization or anything of that nature, just feel free to go to dominiquehart.com or just email us at booking@dominiquehart.com. So it's really easy to get in contact with us. Not a lot of hoops and hurdles or anything of that nature. But I definitely want to make sure that you guys had that information as well. So I'll drop the link. It's just dynamicendeavors.com/free-mp3 or even dominiquehart.com/free-mp3. It'll take you to the same place. Okay.
Thank you.
And just to let you know too, Dominique, we do this every Monday.
Awesome.
Every Monday. So come on, drop by
Yeah,
anytime.
stop on by. You family now.
I'm family now. Y'all can't get rid of me.
I'm
here.
Thank you, Dominique. Good night, everyone.
You're so welcome, guys.
Good night, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Sweet dreams, everybody.
Masterminds in the morning that'll be on. Take care now.
Bright and early. Stop by there, Dominique. Stop by and see us in the morning.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I'll be in
Bye-bye.
touch, Dominique, okay? I'll be in touch.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Bye,
Good night, y'all.
Good night now.
Night.
I gotta just do this 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.